researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right, lasers now.
Heartbreak in Texas tonight. Fast-moving grass fires racing across more than 400,000 acres of prairie land in the state's panhandle. At least 4 killed. Among the dead, 3 ranch hands, including boyfriend and girlfriend Cody Crockett and Sidney Wallace. They were trying to move cattle when they were overcome by smoking flames.
They were horseback, and I guess they just were unaware of how bad the fire actually was, and they got trapped out there.
In Oklahoma, another woman herding her cattle from wildfires now died from a heart attack. And in Kansas, a trucker died of smoke inhalation. More than 1 million acres burning tonight across Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, and Kansas. Especially hard hit, Reno County, Kansas, where today residents had to evacuate. The still spreading fire burning for 3 days now. Winds at times gusting to 60 miles per hour. Total losses so far, at least 30 homes and 1 bridge destroyed. Meantime, moments of terror in the Midwest. At least 3 tornadoes hopscotched through Smithville, Lee Summit, and Oakland, Missouri overnight. Remarkably, everyone survived, but nearly 500 homes damaged.
My ears popped, they got real still, and it was like a freight train, or like a bomb going off. My future grandmother was already sitting on the ground, and I dove on her, and my son dove on us.
The cleanup now underway. Back in the fire zone, the forecast, favorable conditions to get the wildfires under control. Kerry Sanders, NBC News, San Antonio, Texas.
Minutes. It's hard to stay calm when you don't know what's happening.
Families huddled in their closet during and after the alert went out, staying closely glued to their cell phones.
People are hiding in the H3 tunnel. People are running to the mountains with their families.
Today, members of Congress are demanding answers on why it took 38 minutes for a correction to be texted out. Twice the time it would take for a missile to reach Hawaii from North Korea.
Those responsible for this happening need to be held accountable and making sure that this cannot happen again.
This is the state of emergency still unfolding in Kauai, leaving the Hawaiian islands underwater, vehicles overturned, and homes washed away. The most severe flooding leaving some tonight still waiting for rescue. The National Guard, the Army, and the Coast Guard airlifting more than 340 people out. But even those in shelters still need help after nearly 30 inches of rain in 24 hours.
We tried not to let the kids see, but I was terrified.
The GeoWilliams family on vacation from San Diego was trapped until famed surfer Laird Hamilton came to their rescue in a small boat.
It's hard to conceive that that much water could come from the sky, and I mean it was like an ocean back there.
With power out and access cut off, the full extent of the damage is still unclear.
The water came through my mom's bedroom and then just kind of jettied through the house.
Tonight, a race against time to get supplies to the many still stranded as a new storm barrels in. Disaster in paradise with more trouble on the horizon. Miguel Almaguer.
Tilting at them, every week imploring his colleagues to do something about climate change.
It's really time to wake up.
The Democrat is from Rhode Island, the ocean state, threatened by rising sea levels.
I am quite determined to do everything that I can to make sure that the very map of my state is not changed by carbon pollution on my watch.
His urgent, oft-repeated message often echoing around an empty chamber.
It can be a very lonely feeling.
What would you say to critics who say, after 200 and some speeches, all you've really done is produce a whole lot of hot air?
Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. it condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong. Governments have been playing with this thing.
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo-jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now. And in the laboratory, sure enough, they precipitate rain out of water vapor. Sure enough, you can actually bring down electricity down the beam.
So what does it mean for drought areas that need to have rain for crops, and if they don't have them, there's the consequences of famine?
Well, the bad news is if it's a clear blue sky, it's not going to do anything at all, because it only takes water vapor that's already in the air and condenses it. However, for floods, for agriculture, farmers, for people planning wedding parties, football games, you name it, outdoor events and agriculture and flooding and even hurricanes, all of them could be subject to weather modification.
Incredibly interesting, Professor Michio Kaku. Thank you so much.